What's up, everyone? I'm Don from Teeqlife, aka D-Ferg, your favorite intoxicologist, along with my co-host,
Ro.
I set it up, man.
What?
Like it was supposed to be more powerful than that.
How much more powerful is Ro?
That I guess that's pretty powerful. It's like what Madonna has one name, so Seal.
Right.
Like you're like Seal.
I am.
That's perfect.
Just like Seal.
Just like Seal. Very talented, just like Seal. So, we're here back in the Teeqlife basement bar for another episode of something new. We're trying a bourbon. Wyoming Whiskey's Small Batch Bourbon. I already know where you're going. Bourbon, just say it. Just say it.
Can't be from anywhere.
We're going to get
but
into
Kentucky.
that. But we're going to get into that.
Look.
Is that... Alright, spoiler alert. Turn off the YouTube episode if you don't want the spoiler alert. Just put it on mute. But it can.
How?
You can. And we're going to get into that.
Okay.
So, we are trying today. You're kind of a whiskey guy, right?
I like whiskey. I like anything that has alcohol in it.
So like rum chata.
No, that is not actually alcohol.
I thought it was.
It is.
See, I just
rum
learned.
chata, but fruit cups, all this other stuff. It's just it's not worth it.
I just learned something. I thought it was actually liquor.
I think it is actually.
I don't know.
Do you have a bottle back here?
I don't actually. It did. It's banned. So, but what's not banned is Wyoming whiskey, and I've been looking forward to it. We've been talking about it back and forth, and we're going to get into a little bit about doing bourbon in Wyoming, which is really, really unique. So it's a traditional bourbon in an untraditional place. So, with that, I mean, the bottle, I like the bottle. It's got Wyoming imprinted on it. It's got, the label, Wyoming Whiskey, small batch. It kind of tells a little bit of a story, but what's really cool about it, and you noticed this right away, has the date it was bottled along with the batch number.
And honestly, it looks like the pen was running out of ink.
It could have been just you rubbing on it.
I wasn't rubbing on it.
I think you were rubbing on it. Now,
but
the only thing good's going to come out of it is one of your heavy pours.
Yes,
it's not a
exactly.
genie bottle whatsoever. But color of it is a very, very nice dark amber. As the light hits it, it kind of glows, which I like. A floral nose, hint of vanilla.
Okay.
Which I like, vanilla bean, caramel pudding, which is really unique. I've never heard of that. Like, I've heard caramel, but to kind of, segment it to caramel pudding, very unique. Taste, florally, a brown baking spice, brown butter, so kind of like a caramelized butter, I would say.
Okay.
Vanilla, caramel, a touch of cinnamon. So there's a ton of flavors going on. A medium finish with toffee, some spice of vanilla. This sounds like a full flavor, and I would assume that a lot of it's coming from the casks. I mean, I think that's what it would be. A lot of it would probably come from the casks.
All right.
This is an independent distillery. It's family owned in the Bighorn Basin of Wyoming. And this is a family that's very proud of their heritage in Wyoming.
Okay.
And on their website, they give a lot of great information, about their family's history, the past, the Meads, how they came into ranching in the 1890s in Wyoming. They raised cattle, they grew hay. They love everything about Wyoming and the Wyoming products. So it's kind of like, some of the other episodes that we've done before where everything's centrally located and they use everything from that area to produce their spirit.
Do they tell us how bourbon can come from Wyoming?
They actually do. We're gonna kind of get to that in a little bit, but I think we need to crack this open because it sounds like there's so many really unique and good flavors that I want to smell it to see if I can pick it up. What's the proof?
88.
So 88 proof. Okay.
Not bad.
Not too bad. To a little bit over your. Now I wonder if the other thing is because it's small batch, if that can vary. You know how we've had small batches before, and some of them are like 88, 92%. Something like that. Now that's a good pour. I like it. Are we gonna do Risky Rocks, or are we gonna do this just neat?
We can start the traditional way.
All right, let's start the traditional way.
It's the first time I think in any of these episodes I haven't had to say, "You'll smell agave."
That's true. You're not going to smell agave.
Not at all.
I smell a sweetness, though. I definitely smell a good...
I get the vanilla.
I get some spice. I get the vanilla. Did you already go in?
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you.
Don't tell me to pour them if you're not ready to drink it.
You know, like, what we need to do is, like, next time you pour, I'm going to
Wow.
put saran wrap over it. And you can't drink.
No. That's what they do, so no roofies go in it.
Oh, man.
It is really smooth.
That is extremely smooth. For 88%
Proof.
or, yeah, 88 proof, not the ABV. For 88 proof, I'll tell you what, it's got, wow. You know what? Even more flavor comes out afterwards, too.
Yeah, it's... Wow. I
Man.
have to say, that is probably one of the best. I'm going to say whiskey, because the label says whiskey. Even though they call it a small batch bourbon, it's fantastic.
That is really good. That is something, and I'm not the biggest whiskey, bourbon, scotch guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of your area. For me, it's really smooth. It has a lot of good full body flavor. And I'm picking up a lot of what we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much... I don't even know where to start with this, really. I mean, first of all, a lot of people, you pour something like, small batch whiskey, bourbon, and it's just too...
overpowering, too strong as far as the alcohol.
I'm at a loss for words on this one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is very smooth. There is zero aftertaste on it. I honestly, I don't think we've ever said this. You may have. I know I haven't. With how they write it up, right? I think that they're being very generous to themselves. As far as, like, they're being very humble, right? This is a very good bourbon.
This is, to me, and like I said, I'm not the biggest bourbon guy, and I've started to open up, my shelves to bourbon and start getting more in because it's just a hot movement right now. But I like the fact that it's coming from a different place. And they're doing things a little bit differently. But before, I really want to stay on the topic of the nose is extremely inviting. It is not overpowering. I don't smell the liquor, where some of them you smell like the alcohol content or something like that. It's just you smell them and you're like, holy shit, that's going to be...
Exactly. Like, people are like, what are you drinking? And you're like, oh, I got a whiskey or I got a bourbon, and they go like this. They smell it and they're like, oh,
right.
They look at you like you're crazy. Like, how do you drink that?
Yeah.
You don't get that.
No.
Alcohol with this.
Not at all. It is just really a smooth, well blended. That's the other thing, is being blended very well to where you can catch those flavors, you catch those tones.
Yeah.
Now the floral, I'm gonna be honest and say I don't catch it. I don't know if you do.
There's so much other stuff going on in there. You really can't catch it. The only thing that I can probably tell you is that I can't stand toffee, and I don't really get that much toffee.
Okay. I love toffee
in the taste. But again, when you're somebody that doesn't like something, you pick it up like instantly. So if they're saying it's there, they do a very good job. It's very understated. It's not like in your face.
I think probably it's coming from the casks or something like that has, a toffee or, undertone or whatever like that. It's just very subtle. But, I mean, for me, I'm not picking it up either. But I think it's very smooth and well balanced.
Very smooth.
All right, so as we talked about it before, with Wyoming Whiskey, everything is sourced locally. So in the Bighorn Basin, they use everything around them to actually create and distill their whiskey. which is really cool. You know, so it's a sustainable industry, you know, in that area, the Bighorn Basin. They are the whiskey of the West. For them, it starts with the water. The water that they use, and maybe that's why this is so smooth, I don't really know, but the water that they use is a mile below Manderson, Wyoming, and it lies in the Madison Formation in the limestone. So it's basically the water underground that they use to distill to produce their whiskey. It's 6 million year old limestone that is naturally filtered. So I don't think you're going to get any more pure than that. Have you ever been to like I went to the Rocky Mountains and there was just water dripping, pouring off the mountains, and I stuck my hand off. I was biking, you know, it was when I was more fit, and I put my hand out to get some water, and it was just, it almost tasted like the purest water that I've ever tasted in the world. And I think that's what they're using.
They very well could be. I know that, you know, out west, they have some great water sources.
Yeah.
I mean, we're here in the Midwest. We have the Great Lakes. Everybody says we're very lucky. All that other good stuff. I would agree with them some days. But like you mentioned, you know, the limestone filtration or filter is natural. It's very
it's unique.
It's very unique. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
And I don't know, you know, and we're going to get into Kentucky in a minute. So now looking at the website, you can tour their distillery too, which is another benefit, because I would love to be able to go there and tour the distillery, see how they're doing it. I know you were looking at the website.
Yep.
And this is not their only product.
No.
So what else do they got going on?
So they also have a small batch bourbon whiskey. They also have single barrel bourbon whiskey. One of my favorite barrel strength bourbon whiskey.
Okay.
Another product called Outrider, which
probably a rye.
Yeah, maybe a rye. And then, of course, you know, I almost got to say this, but like if you didn't have a private stock bourbon whiskey or some sort of private stock that you would make special, I would be very surprised. So
that's for like the ballers.
Yeah.
For the special
not the
people.
TV show.
Hopefully, you know, maybe one day Teeqlife will be special.
Maybe.
And the private reserves and the private stocks, people will just send us. Just say, like, you know what, we appreciate what you do.
Right.
So, here you go. This is $1 million whiskey.
Well,
I would like that.
If they make $1 million bottle of whiskey, they would probably hold several records. I can say that much.
It would be diamond encrusted.
No. Like, it's about the juice. We talk about that, right? It's about the juice. You can put it in the fanciest bottle in the world, but if the juice sucks, it sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I got to show you. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. This is, as I drink more, it just becomes, I'm getting some more of that. It's just even smoother. It's more flavors coming out, because once you coat your palate and get a real taste for it, it just, everything comes out. And like the brown butter, you know, I mean, it's almost like a brown sugary type of feel to it, you know, a type of taste to it. And it just makes me want, like, I honestly could kill half of this. Easily.
We're well on our way.
We are on our way. This is a really good episode.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about Kentucky and bourbon.
Let's do this.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. 95% of the world's bourbon is made in Kentucky. So that leaves 5%. 5% of the bourbon market. So to me, from what I've researched, it doesn't necessarily have to come from Kentucky. It has to have some other characteristics in order to be called a bourbon.
Okay.
And one of them is corn. You have to use at least 51% corn in order to be called a bourbon. I didn't know that. So, you know, I dug in. I spent seconds upon seconds I did hours of research. So, and it was fascinating because I really thought that bourbon had to come from Kentucky. I did not know. You know,
I'm sure people in Kentucky will argue the fact.
Oh, I'm. Here's the thing about it is, I really want to encourage people in Kentucky or some, bourbon snobs, aficionados, whatever they are. You gotta try this because it is absolutely phenomenal. I am a big fan already, and as you can see, we've been doing some heavy pours. Like, this isn't some lightweight stuff whatsoever. So, I'm sure that they would probably be, something, but this is definitely a really good bourbon.
It is a fantastic bourbon, and you and I have been around for a little bit.
Yep.
We know that, typically speaking in business, right, things like that, like the top 10%, they're the best, right?
Yeah.
You got 100% of people in any industry, whatever. I can tell you that if the 5% of the people that are making bourbon outside of Kentucky are making it like this, they are in the top 10% of all the bourbon producers in the world, because this is a fantastic product. It really is.
To quote Muhammad Ali, they're shaking the world.
They really are.
They really are. So
these guys might not be shaking it that much yet. I never heard of them, but I can tell you what: if they go about it the right way, it'll be over.
Yeah, they're going to change some things. So you can get this online. It's going to run you about $40, which I think is a really good price point.
Oh, fantastic price point.
I'm sold. Teeqlife approved all day long.
Absolutely, Teeqlife approved. Get online. I would tell you guys, especially like, D-Ferg here says, those bourbon snobs out there, the aficionados of the bourbon world in Kentucky. The West is coming.
Yeah,
I can tell you.
Changing the game. So that wraps up another episode of Something New here in the Teeqlife Basement Bar, where we tried Wyoming Whiskey's Small Batch Bourbon. So follow us on social media, and if you want to contact us, go to teeqlife.com. You can do all of that.
Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share. And until then,
we'll see you soon. Man, this
you were
is
a little
good.
late on that one.
I know I was, but man, it's so good. Delicious.
Amazing.
Subscribe.